Hi, guys. This is Mark Morris, the copy bull writer from 8 Seconds Rule. And I just want to start off by telling you about Anchor. Anchor.fm. I found this site a couple of years ago, and it is the simplest and easiest way to start a podcast that I know of today. You can do it straight from your smartphone. You don't need anything but their app. It's free. They have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast. You can even add music, add buffers, all of those things right here on the site. It doesn't cost anything to host it. You can start as many as you want. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it's heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, many more, and you make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. If you feel invisible on social media, it's your fault. I'm just going to come right out and say it today on the 8-second rule. You're playing into the invisible man syndrome. You've made yourself disappear. Welcome to the 8-Second Rule, the podcast about attention-based marketing that teaches you how to get, maintain, and build on your ideal audience's attention. I'm your host, Mark Morris, the bull riding copywriter. I don't actually ride bulls, but if you read my about on LinkedIn, you'll see what I mean. The 8-second rule is all about the first 8 seconds of contact between you and the outside world, you and your audience. Can you make them pay attention? You've got 8 seconds of passive attention that they will give to you for free. After that, you have to buy it. You have to buy it by dragging them into a contract. You have to make them invest their time and energy to read your content, watch your videos, listen to your podcasts. Are you doing that? If you're not, you need this podcast. Today, I'm going to talk about the invisible man syndrome. This is something that I see all the time on social media. People are complaining about the lack of engagement that they get. But the problem is they're not really giving anyone anything to engage with. And here's where you need to start. You have to start from the top, people, if you want to fix things. So when it comes to social media, your presence is based around your profile. And on LinkedIn, they give you all kinds of tools to create an incredible profile. Here's where I want you to start. I want you to click onto your About section right now, and I want you to read it out loud. Did you just fall asleep? I bet some of you did. They're boring. They're boring. They're written in the third person. They sound like a sad obituary, not even a well-written one. Just one of those really sad obituaries where you're wondering if more than 6 people showed up to the funeral. Okay, why is that? Well, it's probably because you're not really very excited about the things you do in life. I find that sad because it's all your choice, every bit of it, but we'll get into that detail on another podcast in another lifetime somewhere else. Today, we're going to deal with getting you some attention. So your LinkedIn profile, the About section, is where you start, people. I want you to do something with the first 8 seconds that someone glances at that About section. And it kind of starts with your headline, honestly. Put something in there that makes them curious, okay? Sure, you may be a car salesman. That's awesome. How can you say that in a way that makes me want to know who you are? Or is there something else about you that's way more fascinating than the fact you sell cars? Put that first, put cars second. Do you see what I mean? Look, we all know you have an occupation. If we want to know what it is, we'll click into your profile and we'll probably find it. But when we do, is that going to make us wish to know more? Or are we going to wish we hadn't done it? Because that's the deal with the About section. That's the deal with your headline. That's the deal with your profile. Guys, you have to be vibrant. You have to be exciting. You have to be a little bit in your face. You have to differentiate yourself. Even if your brand is soft-spoken, that's okay. Be funny or inspiring. There's lots of ways to catch attention. You don't have to slap people around the way I do sometimes verbally. You can do it in other ways. Find something that suits you, but tell me a story. Make me want to know more about you. Bring that to life for me. And it should be more than 2 sentences, guys. This is all I know about you. If it's all I know about you, would I want to ask more? Or maybe you can do that for me in 2 sentences. That's awesome. If you can, then you should probably be a copywriter because you're good at it. So you start with that, guys, because you have to have a persona before you can be perceived as anybody in social media that people want to follow. All right. People have to be curious about you. They have to have a reason to follow your content. They have to have a reason to listen to what you have to say. And if you're not giving that to them, no one else is going to do it because everyone else out here is trying to build their own audience. They're not going to help you build yours. Well, I'm helping you build yours. So, I mean, that's not entirely true, but I'm doing it because I want you to be a part of mine. Do you understand? So, first and foremost, you've got to take care of yourself. That's my heater kicking up in my world headquarters here in the basement of my home in Oklahoma City. We just bought a house this year, 2020, but it's pretty good to us. And I am working on my next phase of my world domination plan, and part of it is this podcast. So I hope you're enjoying it so far. The next part about not being invisible on social media, about building an audience on the internet, is you've got to say something, okay? You have to start a conversation. Listen, have you ever been to a party? Have you ever made a friend, a new friend? Have you ever met a stranger and started a conversation with them? If you haven't, you should practice because real world is tough. It's really challenging, but social media can be even harder because people get all self-conscious about what they type and then they second guess themselves. I've got a friend who, he's a very educated guy. And the other day he was talking to me about how he had looked at one of my posts and he wanted to respond. He spent almost an hour and a half writing and deleting. And in the end, he left nothing, no comment whatsoever. He is the invisible man. And that's sad because I've seen inside this guy's head. He's got great ideas and he needs to be sharing them with the world. We're working on that. But if you don't say something provocative, if you don't take a side, if you don't take a position, if you don't suggest something new, then why would people pay attention to you? Because there's 6 other people who are saying the same exact thing, and they probably have better photos, and they probably have better copy, and they probably have a funnier way of approaching it, and their videos are probably better, they're probably cuter than you, they're probably richer than you. Do you see what I'm saying? You have to set yourself apart. You got to do something to stir things up. So what are the opportunities for actually starting a conversation on a platform like LinkedIn? Well, you could start with your own posts, okay? Are you doing more than one a day? You're not even doing one a day? Oh, okay, listen, just click out of my podcast. This isn't going to help you. I'm serious here. If you really are wanting attention, if you came here to learn that, then listen to me. You have to engage in this conversation every day. I don't care if that means you go and pay for Hootsuite so that you can sit one weekend a week or one night a week and sit down and crank out all your posts for the week. And if it takes you that long, that's fine. I don't care. It'll get easier as you do it. But listen to me. If you're not trying to start a conversation at least once or more times a day, of course you're being ignored. Of course, you're not getting new connections. Of course, no one's trying to buy from you because that one post that you put up this week was a sales ad. Come on. You got to do something provocative. You have to start a conversation. Start it around your business, and I'll teach you more about that as we go along. But that's the deal, okay? The other places to start conversations are in the comments. You can comment on anybody's post and you don't have to agree with them to do it. Say something provocative. Pick a fight. When I say pick a fight, don't be like me because I will literally pick a fight, okay? There are times when I see something that I feel is so egregious that I go into that comment section looking to get blocked by that user. I'm either going to convince them that what they posted is offensive or they're going to be done with me. And either way, I'm okay. I feel like it's a win. But don't be like me. I'm a 49-year-old white guy who sits in his basement making fun of other people and commenting on stuff that I know nothing about. So don't be like me. But I am saying, take a side, step up. If you disagree with something, say so. You can do it in a constructive way. Bring some constructive criticism or just ask it as a question. Find a way to get yourself in there, differentiate yourself, say something a little bit different. If 1,000 people have already agreed with this post and you're just like, what? That doesn't even mean anything. Say that. Maybe someone will react to you. Maybe it will bring you more attention. That's the goal, okay? Then finally, you can also start with other types of content. You can go to video. You can do a podcast like I'm doing and share the link there on LinkedIn. You can write articles directly on LinkedIn, which they really promote those pretty well. And you can get a lot of readers for them if you put out provocative content. Here's what you want to do. You want to share valuable content. What does that even mean? I got asked this question yesterday. Here's valuable content. Valuable content is something that you read from me and you grow from it, you change from it, you learn from it. You are either educated, enlightened, or entertained without having to spend any money on my products or services. That's valuable content. Anything less than that is just advertising, okay? So you need to be sharing that kind of detail. Teach people about what you do. Show them what an expert you are. Give them social proof of who you are. Make yourself a robust person out there. Engage, 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 engage. And when they comment on your post finally, reply. For God's sake, reply. And don't just use the like button, guys. You need to leave comments. Make it at least a sentence. Say something fun. Ask a question. Tell a joke. Share a meme. I don't care how you do it, but engage. Listen, the goal should be, if you are on your desktop or on your phone, you see that little bell up in the right corner of your LinkedIn profile, on your LinkedIn newsfeed. There's a little bell up there for notifications, right? Do you guys know what a speed bag is? Boxers use these. It's the little bubble bag that just kind of hangs from a swivel, and they just smack it as many times as they can. And the goal is to get it going really, really fast so that one hand comes right after that. And if they're good, they just keep it bouncing, right? You make that bell your speed bag. You want it to ding as many times as possible. Why? Isn't that just a vanity metric, Mark? Come on. Who cares? It means people are engaging with you. It means people are liking your content. It means people are replying to your comments. It means people are in the same conversations you're in. It means you have an opportunity to bring more attention to your products and your services and your business and your person. That's the whole goal of this. And listen, the 8-second rule of you have to catch their attention in the first 8 seconds of your about section. You have to catch their attention in the first 8 seconds of your blog post, your first 8 seconds of your video. It applies to everything, and you get 1 million chances a day if you want to take them. And you can learn to be better at this. You can analyze your own performance, your own behavior, and increase the things that work and decrease the things that don't. It's up to you, okay? You can do this, I promise. Now, finally, and this is the third thing that I'm going to talk about, and then I'm going to be done. I'm trying to keep these short, okay? Listen, if I Google you, here's something that happens to me all the time because I'm a writer. I also write fiction. I write, freelance for people. I do all sorts of writing. And so I'm in all of these writers groups, particularly on LinkedIn, or not on LinkedIn, but on Facebook, because the LinkedIn groups are kind of blah. Most of them are not engaging at all. There's no content going into them. There's no activity. I even own one, and I'm not doing a good job of managing it, and I need to, okay? But on Facebook, the group culture is thriving, right? There's all of these communities all over. Guys, if you've not searched for Facebook groups that kind of fit into whatever you're nerdy about, go do it. There's people out there talking about the things you love, I promise, and you will meet new friends. And it's the same for your business, but I'm in these writing groups. And here's what happens is that pompous people will show up and they will give these horrible lectures about how bad Stephen King is when he's like the second most profitable author in American pop culture. And, then you go and look for them. You Google their name and they've got a really, unique name. And you can't find them. I mean, how many authors can there be named Chase Allen McCarthy or George MacArthur Strait? It's not that difficult. And if you're not showing up, if all I'm seeing is your Facebook page, you're the invisible man too. You're falling into invisible man syndrome. And invisible man syndrome makes you crazy. If you read H.G. Wells's book, the guy went nuts because no one could see him. And he went on a rampage because nobody believed in his research. And the reason that he started to slip because he couldn't recognize himself. And when he finally is killed, his body reemerges. They see him for the first time, right? So being invisible is very difficult because you feel like you're shouting and you're waving and you're doing all, but you're not. Most of the time, you're really not. And listen, You have to be a bigger, wider presence than that one tiny little avenue. Okay, if you go and Google right now, Mark R. Morris Jr., okay, if you do that, you're going to find me. You're going to find me all over the place. You're going to find interviews with me about my fiction. You're going to find my blogs. You're going to find posts that I wrote 10, 12, 15 years ago. All right, it's all out there, some good, some bad. You're going to figure out how you think about me based on what's out there. But listen, it will not be a mystery. What you see is what you get. And I have been the same person, evolving, granted, in my beliefs. I have been the same person who was in your face about things that I believed in passionately from the very beginning. And you can follow that. You can see that. And listen, you will not question whether I am a writer or not, because I am prolific and it's out there all over. You'll see me. And there's a lot more writing that I've done for clients that doesn't have my name on it. That's all over too, over 10 million words. But the thing is, when you Google me, you find me, okay? And what you find is consistent. You're going to notice I'm very vocal when it comes to some political things. I'm very vocal when it comes to some faith-based things. I'm very vocal about my ideas about education. I'm very vocal about my ideas about social media. But I've earned the right to be in all of those fields because I've engaged in them deeply. And if you want to hear my resume, I'll gladly give it to you on any of those fronts. And I'll tell you why I think what I think and how I came to that conclusion. You can disagree with me, but what you can't do is you can't just say, he's just out there making noise. No, I'm not. I'm actually being myself. I'm actually doing the things that I've always done, all right? You can find me. You can see me. I'm not invisible. You may like me, you may hate me, but you will not be able to just completely ignore me unless you block me. Okay? That's how it works, guys. Don't be the invisible man, all right? You're going to get your profile up to snuff so that you have somewhere that people can find you. They can go and they can look at you. They can see your resume. They can read your catalog of successes, your hits, your whatever you've got going on, your published stuff. Secondly, you're going to engage in conversations and create valuable content that people can learn from, educate, enlighten, entertain without taking their money, okay? It's okay. You'll get their money eventually. Just hold on. Then you need to also spread yourself out so that when people Google you or they go to look for you, they find you in more places than just one. All right. You need to be a multifaceted person. Blog on Minds, blog on, I can't think of it. There's lots of blogging platforms out there that have domains that, are high authority domains. You can do it on LinkedIn. You can do it on your own website. I don't care. Somewhere, somehow, start a YouTube channel, get on the TikTok. Be on Twitter, be on Pinterest if you're a designer or whatever. Be on Instagram, all right? But make it so people can find you. Spread yourself out, build a personality, and then your message can actually go somewhere, guys. You won't be the invisible man anymore. All right. Hey, thanks for listening to 8-Second Rule. I hope that you enjoyed it today. I know that I've shouted a lot of stuff at you in a very short amount of time. I wanted to share with you one free resource. I'm going to try to do this at the end of every show that I do. And this is Mixkit, Mixkit.co. If you are looking for music for podcasts or for videos, there's lots of instrumental mostly, different styles of music here. It's not stuff that you'll recognize from the radio, but it has great flavor. It's good music. It's free. You can download it. You can use it as much as you want for commercial purposes, for whatever. They're just trying to get it out there. All right. So you don't even have to give attribution. You don't even have to put their name on it. Mixkit.co. It's free stock music, and you can search by mood. You can search by style. It's great. If you got a podcast, if you got videos, if you got anything. You might want to just listen to some of it. I don't know. I haven't tried that part yet, but there's going to be some of that in the background of this show. And other than that, the only tool I'm using, people, is my blue Snowball microphone, my HP laptop, and the Anchor.fm that I advertised at the beginning of the show. All right? You can do this too if you want to. If you need help with that, let me know. Thanks and have a great day.